welcome to the fourth and final review of the evening. Up this time is Justin Wack and the Big Time Hack. So, I guess to explain the title there, Justin Wack is one of the playable characters in the game. He is the IT professional who gets things started, let's say. And the Big Time Hack is a lot more literal than you might think. It's not like big time as in this is huge, although I guess it is in the sense of what it is, but it's a literal hacking of time.
So it is the Big Time Hack.
Yes. Involving...
I guess if it was big time, it should be hyphenated, so that should have been more obvious to me.
Yeah. Well, yeah. There was an incident involving a microwave and some aluminum foil, and somehow that created a time rift in which Justin Wack gets transported back to, well, let's say dinosaur caveman times. It's one of those games where it is completely unserious. So in both its tone and presence and just everything, it's a comedy game, more or less.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The fact that they stole a significant, or they shouldn't say stole, borrowed a significant gimmick from Kung Fury doesn't give that away.
And the other major playable character is Clute, a caveman transported to the present times. And there's also Julia, the love interest of one Justin Wack. Indeed, the whole game is started by them breaking up by the fact that Justin has very serious cat allergies, and Julia has adopted a new kitten, Oligarch, and is willing to break up with her long-term boyfriend over it. Okay, there are other issues, actually, but I wouldn't say those got resolved because, like I said, this is a comedic / comedy game. Very light tones. So not getting into actual relationship issues is probably advisable. And along the way, you have to thwart the machinations of the evil Pythonic Empire and its robotic special agents who are tracking you down because they are sort of tasked to preserve the time stream. At least that's their justification. It's more, they like killing people and are quite ruthless about it. Right. So, given all that background out of the way, this is a very traditional point-and-click adventure game, though I would definitely say it's up in the modern age. In fact, it's more modern than some other modern adventure games we've covered on the program because it remembered that waypoint viewing is a thing, which, quite frankly, should be a standard quality of life thing in modern day point-and-click adventure games. They are not. And it infuriates me when I don't see that kind of thing. And yes, this game also has an internal hint system. You don't have to use it, and for some reason, the hints are just put in text instead of spoken out, even though this game has otherwise full voice acting. And let me tell you, aside there, this game is very Australian in terms of its voice cast. Not so much on its dialogue. Like, it doesn't go really Aussie or British with a lot of the slang. I mean, you'll still see it here and there, like calling it the rubbish bin. And that's something that's UK influenced.
Yeah, I mean, it's still comprehensible in English, obviously. There's not anything else it could mean, but US prefers trash can usually.
Yeah. Rubbish is at best an infrequent word used here,
Mm-hmm.
like especially in terms of the bin. So, um, anyway, now as far as its puzzles go, these are real adventure game puzzles, real old school puzzle games, puzzle game puzzles, and that um, I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna lie. The big problem with this game is it dives right into fucking moon logic, or, um, or rather, the very esoteric logic that you can understand when you see it all laid out, but you're not necessarily going to get. Um, I'll give a good example of this: the printer cartridge puzzle. Um, Late in the game, you have to fill an empty printer cartridge filled with 4 colors in order to print something out. But it's not just a matter of collecting regular ink. You have to find things that will represent that color. And like, for example, black ink, that is represented by a pint of stout. Like, something that I had
The beer.
Yes. And yellow or cyan. No. Yellow is mustard. Another example there. Probably the longest was the magenta, which had to blend a flower, basically.
Yeah, that's not a color that's particularly found in nature, is it?
Ironically, that was the natural one. Trying to remember what the cyan. Oh, right, the hair dye. But it's like this is the line of logic this game is working on. It's like, never mind that these would be mostly horrible ink solutions. They are the color you're looking for, and thus you have to put them in the ink. And some of these puzzles, like this one here, are fairly elaborate, involving multiple items. It's going to get especially jumbled when you get to Act 2, because then you get character switching, bit of Maniac Mansion there, and thus you're going to have to swap items. I will say this game has as many anti-frustration features as it possibly can, short of a walkthrough. Here's the thing: they're actually selling a walkthrough for $3. No, and no. Because you know what we can do? What we've been able to do for decades? We can go on the internet and look things up. Indeed, this game has been out about a month at time of recording, and I found a perfectly good walkthrough that had most of the achievements listed. One was not found, but I don't really care about achievements. So, like I said, yeah, as an adventure, like if this were an adventure game that came out in the 90s, I think I would have hated it. Because it would have been one of those games that it's very much in the style of LucasArts. You can see quite a few LucasArts reference. Also a Seventh Guest reference for some reason. This game did not remind me of the Seventh Guest at all. But LucasArts, specifically things like Maniac Mansion and Day of the Tentacle, oh god, yeah. Not as good as those games, but it's in the modern context, it's a solid adventure game. If this game came out in 1995, I probably would have viewed it like I do the first Discworld game. I wanted to like that game, but holy fuck, I could not understand what the fuck you were trying to do there. So, thankfully, this game was released here, and as an adventure game, it's solid, but I don't know. I didn't find it very humorous. Like, I found it rather jovial, but I can't say it made me laugh all that often. A few times, but yeah, I don't know. Like I said, it's still a solid game. Um, anyway, in terms of pricing, the game will clock in at $19.99 ordinarily, though it is still on sale for $15.99. $20 I could definitely see. It's long enough where, especially if you don't use hints, where you're going to get your money's worth. There's also a deluxe edition. Mentioned it's selling the walkthrough chart for $3 and the soundtrack for $9.99. The soundtrack was okay, but definitely not something I'd listen to outside of the game. Right. So any questions, comments, or concerns about Justin Wack and the Big Time Hack?
Did you say anything about the music?
Yes. Okay. It was very forgettable.
What you said about it was also forgettable.
I think I'm good.
All right. So, yeah. Again, I'd say 6.5 out of 10.
Is Justin Wack the boring-ass blonde guy?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Clute is the douchebag-looking motherfucker. There's a whole quest about that. Like, anyway, so yeah, that'll about do it for this review and this review session. So the week ahead. The week ahead is kind of in flux right now. Mainly due to, at time of recording, we are watching tropical storm, soon to be Hurricane Ian, develop. And I am in the cone of concern. So I might have to retreat from the domicile by Wednesday. And that means if that happens, well, I'm not going to be able to do any shows. I don't know if Max is going to carry on with MSP this week. But I'm not, I'm going to have to worry about hurricane shit and the possibility of, like, my dwelling not existing anymore. Shit like that. Very serious stuff.
Well, hopefully it works out well.
Yes. So with that in mind, should everything proceed according to plan, we will be having Rafael Leos Burgos of Burgos Games, and we'll be talking about the game Star Valor. And no Friday show this week. And as mentioned, we do have a new episode of Moonhawk Studios Presents planned. Hopefully everything will work out with minimal interruption, if any. So until next time I'm able to broadcast, let's say, I shall wish you good gaming.